Hey guys, Rod's Over Bricks here. So I was sitting down last night eating supper and thinking about all the projects I've made, and I thought about something I don't think I've shown you guys yet. It's under this cover, and it's not these mopeds. Those are really cool, but those belong to a friend of mine. What I've got down here, under this cover, well, first off, that's my old Flatland bike in the silver. But then you'll see this white bicycle with a 22cc because at the back, we've got a little Echo Weed Eater. So let's go ahead and get this thing unburied and see if it'll fire for the first time in years. All right, let's get this thing unburied. So yeah, if you guys don't know, this is my old Flatland bike. I've had it for years and years and years. Used to ride quite a bit. And here we've got the Weed Eater bicycle. I remember this thing being so much fun. All right, guys. Well, here it is. Let's see here. Tires are definitely going to need some air. I'm going to go ahead and get those aired up. Oh, yeah, that one's just about flat. Apparently, I stole the hand grips off of it for something. And I think there's a little bit of, yep, there's still some fuel inside there. Let's see if it comes up through the primer bubble. Oh, yeah, we got some fuelage going on. And I think, let's see here. I think that's on. Go ahead and set our choke. Give it some more primer action. All right. Actually, it runs pretty darn good. Okay, I think we're going to go for a ride shortly. All right, I'm going to get the tires aired up, and then I'll show you guys kind of how this thing works and how I kept the centrifugal clutch. You know, I know a lot of people have built Weed Eater bicycles, but they're usually push start. This one is friction drive, you know, as most of them are. If I remember right, we didn't want too much pressure in the back tire, so we go for like 20 pounds. The front will be normal, 30, 35, whatever. All right, it didn't pop, so that's good. Over here in the back, I've got an aluminum bicycle peg, and I machined a shaft that fits into the clutch of the Weed Eater motor. And then as you see, there's a big bridge over here, which is actually like one of those mountain bike handlebar weird things. And then inside here is a bearing to carry the other side so that all the force isn't on that, just one side. You'll see here it spins really nicely. And to make it friction drive, all we have to do see, that's raising the motor. And if I want to engage friction drive, we go ahead and just turn this thing in a whole bunch, and you'll see the little peg starting to squeeze down on the tire. And if I remember right, it took a few little adjustments while you're going up the street just to make sure it's not like spinning its brains out. But the tire shows very little wear. I am using a pretty high-end tire back here. I think it's a Maxxis, I'm not quite sure. But there we go. So now that the motor's engaged, we can go ahead and get this thing fired up. It runs so good. Then Alright guys, well the tires held air, the old fuel in it actually still seems to work. So let's go ahead and take this thing out for a ride, man. Let's take this hog and crank it. Just look at that hog. Alright. Okay, I guess the switch is already on. It's pretty fun going from muscle cars to I'm not pedaling at all. I remember it being a lot easier to ride a bicycle with one hand. Well, that was definitely fun. You know, the fuel I think is definitely old. It's probably been in there for 3 or 4 years. But that little Echo Weed Eater just fired right up. Power was down a little bit. Like I said, I think the fuel is probably no good. For safety, I taped my phone to the mount goodie. But otherwise, what a fun little project. I have the whole Weed Eater motor here pivoting from the seat post, and pardon that pretty terrible weld. But it's really simplistic. I was able to, I think, maybe I did have to drill out that hole a little bit down there for the turnbuckle to go into. But aside from that, it's just the seat post and that little turnbuckle clips onto the bike. Run a throttle cable, which is just a little shifter thing here that I got rid of the ratcheting piece inside there, which worked out good. I was able to get 2 of them the same, you know, just one's upside down, but that one's for the actual shifting in the back. Over here, and it's just a little 20-inch like kids mountain bike, I guess, type thing. But what a ball, guys. So if you guys have a Weed Eater and a bicycle and a little bit of knowledge to weld, well, then you could definitely fab up something like this. I think it only took me maybe a few hours to build, but it worked out super nice, especially with that little carrier bearing here on the other side of the peg. And it's actually pretty smooth. You know, you do feel quite a bit of vibration, I think, from the knobbies of the tire here. And the little grooves and knurls on that peg, that friction drives it. But it works pretty darn good. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.